welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sneha and today I'm here with another book haul. If you might have seen a few of my previous videos, you might think I have a bit of a book accumulating problem, but I just remember that Instagram reel which says, I know it's an obsession, I know it is, but it's not harming anybody, so I'm gonna continue with it. That's kind of my feelings about it. It's not harming anybody except my bank balance. I didn't buy all of these books in the past week or anything like that. I bought these over a span of 3 months, but I have accumulated quite a few books, but I've also read a few of them and some of them I've been wanting to buy for a long time. So I'm happy with a lot of the books that I have. A few I'm not. I'll get to that very shortly. But yeah, these are books that I've accumulated from Amazon, from indie booksellers, from also thrift stores. A few of them I bought in Hyderabad actually, where when I went back to stay with my family for a few weeks. And yeah, most of them spark joy and I'm ready to share that joy with other people. Let's go. Let's start. The very first book that I want to talk about is China Room by Sanjeev Sahota. This was long listed for the Booker Prize and I was very excited to see an Indian on the list. I wanted to show my support for him, so I bought this pretty much a day or two after the long list was announced. This is the story of Meher, who is a young woman in 1929 Punjab. She marries into a family of 3 brothers, and the unusual thing about this family is that the women who get marry into this family, they're not allowed to know which brother that they're married into, that they're married to. So when it's time for them to consummate their marriage on the few nights as decided by the mother-in-law, they go into this room called the China Room, which has a display of china, and it's like really dark there. They don't know who they're sleeping with. So Meher is curious about who her husband is and what repercussions happen when she finds out who her husband is. So the story intrigued me. I never heard of this concept ever in rural India, that you're married into a family and you're not allowed to see who your husband is. I found that very weird. But my problem with this book is not the story in itself, though again it is a little unbelievable. My problem with this book is just the basicness of it. It's really basic language. It's nothing special. There's no suspense. There is a little bit of a suspense, but it's not written well enough for you to get hooked to it. So I was not very drawn into the book. I never, from the beginning, my attention was wavering. So I just didn't enjoy it. So yeah, I can see, I don't know why it even made the long list, but I'm glad that it didn't make the short list, because I'm sure that there are better books there that deserve their place. So yeah, coming to the books that I did buy there and I didn't read yet is The Mothers by Brit Bennett. I read The Vanishing Half of Brit Bennett recently, I think last year if I'm not wrong, and I know that this is her debut, her much appreciated, much beloved debut. I saw this in a bookstore in Hyderabad. I knew I had to have it. So this is about
a high school girl called Nadia Turner, and her mother passes away from a suicide, and she takes up with the local pastor's son. So it's about her secret, and she has a secret to cover in the close-knit community.
So like, I think you can tell that I don't really know too much about this book, but I'm really looking forward to reading this. Hopefully I'll get into this soon. And it's a nice, like, compact size, so much appreciated for that. Another compact size book that I thrifted in Hyderabad is The Clothing of Books by Jhumpa Lahiri. I mentioned in my previous video, for me Jhumpa Lahiri can do no wrong in this in this century. I hope those words don't come back to bite me. This is a non-fiction book, very surprising for me, and it's this really cute tiny little volume, and it's about the process and the art of choosing the book cover for a book. So she talks about how after writing a book, it's really out of her control about how it is being perceived by the reader, and the first step to that of people perceiving her book and judging a book is the cover of the book. And she talks about the science, the art, and the anxiety that goes into choosing that cover. I read only a few pages of this, but I just love her language. Hopefully I will get more into this, but absolutely really happy to have found this in a thrift store. Another great find that I'm so happy with in the same thrift store, this is Vikram Seth's Unequal Music. I read A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth last year. Very happy about the fact that I finished it. I think it was the 10-year anniversary last year, so it was everywhere on Bookstagram, Booktube, everything, and I'm really happy to have accomplished at least one reading goal, because this year's reading goals are completely not happening. But anyway, this is another of his fiction works. Vikram Seth is actually known a lot for his poems, and I think he's written only like 3 or 4 novels, and he wrote A Suitable Boy so amazingly, beautifully, wonderfully that I really want to read more of his fiction work. So I saw this and I knew I had to have it. So moving on to a wild card that I bought and actually finished, very surprisingly. I bought this from Amazon and it's a non-fiction book. This is The Splendid and the Wild by Eric Larson. As you can see, I have finished this. It looks like a well-used copy now, but this is a non-fiction book. Like I mentioned, this is a story. This is not the story, it's the account of Churchill and how he was in the first year of Britain entering the Second World War. So basically Hitler decides to kind of blitz London and a few of the major cities of England, and the England Air Force is not able to match up to this ferocious attack. France has already fallen and Churchill wants the US to enter the war and at least give aid and give weapons, but Roosevelt is also apprehensive to enter the war because it's not a popular move in his country, and basically there's an entire political reasoning behind it. So this book is really interesting because it talks about Churchill, but it talks about different perspectives of Churchill. So we get to know about the accounts of the people who were closest to him, his family, his associates, his colleagues. Also you get to hear about Churchill's opinion from the general public. Then I bought 3 books from Kitab Khana in Mumbai, which is one of my favorite bookstores here. And the first one is Isabel Allende's The House of the Spirits. I read Long Petal of the Sea by Isabel Allende, and I think I talked about it in a video. I'll link that up. You can check that out. But I really enjoyed her writing, and this is one of her most famous works, if I'm not mistaken. So I wanted to read more of her. Don't know too much about it, but looking forward to it. And I really like this edition. Again, a vintage red spines collection, and it looks so nice all lined up next to each other. So then a book that I regret buying, Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I fell into the marketing hype. I really wanted to see what is the deal with this book, and I bought it and I started reading it, and I really did not enjoy it, and I have DNF'd it probably 100 pages into it. I tried really hard to give this a chance, but this is the story of 4 people. That's it, nothing else. And these 4 people, they're 2 friends, 2 girlfriends, friends who are girls, and they have this correspondence about their regular lives, and each of them talk about this new man in their lives, and they also talk about like just general life. I just found the characters really unlikable. There's something so blah about them, like they don't lead particularly interesting lives. I mean, even if they do lead particularly interesting lives, they're just very privileged as well. So their problems seem too trivial for me. I just didn't relate to any one of them. I just don't get Sally Rooney. I mean, I think millennials read this book and I think, oh, she has such beautiful perspective on human character and human emotions. I just don't get it. I think I'm too old, maybe, I don't know, but I didn't like it. And if anybody watching this would want a brand new copy of Beautiful World, Where Are You, I'm willing to part ways with this because it just makes me sad to have spent quite a bit of money on a brand new book and having DNF'd it. So last book I bought from Kitab Khana is another anticipated read of 2021. This is Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. Anthony Doerr wrote All the Light We Cannot See, a book about World War II, which I really enjoyed. I read this a few years ago and I really loved his writing. And again, this is also another hyped anticipated book of 2021, so I couldn't resist. Don't know too much about this. I think this is more on the magical realism scale. It's about stewardship of the book, of the earth, and of people, apparently. So sounds interesting. It's a chunk. Don't know when I'll get to this, but excited. The next 3 books I bought during the Amazon Great Indian Festival. I thought I won't buy anything, but a few of them I just couldn't resist and ended up buying them. So let me show them to you. The first one is At Night All Blood is Black by David Diop. This is the winner of the Man Booker, I think, Man Booker International in 2020. Oh, 2021, sorry, it says it right here. But as you can see, it's a very sad thing that this arrived torn. I wanted to exchange it, but there was some issue with the dates and something. Amazon messed up, and I was just way too overwhelmed with work to take it up. And I forgot about it. So now I'm going to live with it. So yeah, this is set in Senegal, and
It's about two soldiers who are fighting in the Great War. They attack France's German enemies whenever the whistle blows until one of them is wounded and dies. The other guy is left alone and lost among the savagery of the conflict, and he devotes himself to the war and to violence. And he begins to frighten even his other brothers in arms. So
really interesting. It's a very achievable book, I would say. So looking forward to this as well. Then I have a book that I've been wanting to read for the longest time, and it's The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I have seen this book in like maybe 2 places in all the time that I have tried to look for this book, and it's either too expensive or I've already bought other books and I decide to forego it. But finally it was at a good price on Amazon, so I really could not resist. This is a dark academia book, I think, and it's very popular among booktube and bookstagram. I actually was introduced to Donna Tartt through The Goldfinch, which I read a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed it. It is a chunk. It is thrice this size. It was a challenge to get through it towards the end, but I am a sucker for details, and she gave me so many details, and I was really happy reading that book. Very much looking forward to this. I know I'm going to get to this very soon, so yay, happy. And another looking forward to book is The Lying Life of Adults by Elena Ferrante. Which one did I read? I read the first of her quartet, which is My Beautiful Friend or something like that, her Neapolitan quartet, and I just loved her storytelling. It is a translated book. I think even this is a translated book, if I'm not wrong. Elena Ferrante is a Spanish writer, I think. No, Italian. Elena Ferrante is an Italian writer. So this is translated, and Elena Ferrante is this kind of like this brilliant author who nobody knows who she is. She's her publisher has managed to keep this in secret for years. So the author also intrigues me, and I'm really intrigued by this book as well. Don't know too much about it. This is her latest release. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that because I have more books to talk about. Then my most recent acquisitions. I bought these last weekend. There's a new bookstore which opened in Mumbai called The White Crow. This is in Bandra Kurla complex, and I bought 3 books. Let's see what I bought. The first one is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This I've seen quite a bit on Bookstagram, and apparently it's like this weird novel about a couple, and the woman decides to go vegetarian, and it has sort of like deeper implications on her relationship and her life. I don't know, it sounds really intriguing. Again, a thin, easily accomplishable book, and this has also won the Man Booker International Prize in 2016. So looking forward to this. This is, I think, Japanese, if I'm not wrong. Let me see. It's Korean, so yeah. Then 2 beautiful editions I have acquired. The first one is Midnight Children by Salman Rushdie. I bought Shalimar the Clown by Salman Rushdie in this beautiful vintage edition that was turquoise, and this is purple. That unfortunately I left back in Hyderabad because I was running out of luggage space. But I love these editions, and I know, and if I want to read more Rushdie in the future, I'll try to acquire all of them in these beautiful covers. So this is his most famous work. It is the Booker of the Bookers. It is very, I'm sure if you think of an India book to read, a lot of international people would also think of this book. So it comes with great acclaim, and I'm looking forward to this. At the stroke of midnight on August 15th, 1947, when India has declared freedom from the British, there are a bunch of people who are born at that exact stroke, and all of them are connected by this mystical force which is larger than life, and the story is about how these people are interconnected throughout their lives. And yeah, it's 1001 children apparently. So very interested. Hopefully we'll get to it soon. I say that about pretty much every book, don't I? But well, then the last one is Herzog by Saul Bellow. It's in this gorgeous green color. This is one of my favorite colors of all time, by the way, and it's a Penguin Classics Deluxe edition. I have a couple of these here. I have Frankenstein and Huckleberry Finn, and I'm excited to add this to the collection as well. This has décolletés and French flaps, and I don't know anything about this book, but I read the synopsis of it and I was really intrigued. So it's about this man who is he's at a stage in his life where he has nothing to lose. Like, his wife has left him, he's sad, his children don't talk to him, something like that. And he starts to write letters, unsent letters to these people in his life, just letters. I don't know what kind of letters, but they talk about his perceptions of the world and the innermost secrets of his heart. So sounds really interesting, and I read a couple of pages in the bookstore and I just liked the narration of it, so I decided to buy it. And yeah. So yeah, those are all the books that I've acquired in recent times. I was very happy to show them to you. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still around, it means the world to me. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.